I'm Isis Romero, and this is the news in San Antonio. Police are searching for two men involved in a shooting on the city's northwest side. We know that shooting sent one person to the hospital. Meredith Haas spoke with investigators and has details.
Well, while police were investigating and questioning multiple people on this property, they found out that this all started because of a fight that broke out in the backyard. While cleaning up some property in this backyard, police say two men got into a fist fight. One of the men started losing the fight, and that's when investigators say he ran into the home and grabbed a gun. They say two shots were fired, with one hitting the victim in his left leg. The victim fell to the ground and hit his head. Police are trying to figure out if the bleeding from his head was from a gunshot wound or from the fall. Emergency crews took the victim to the hospital and he's stable. But when authorities arrived to the home, the suspect had already run off. Another man involved, who police believe was going to use a tire iron in the fight, also ran off. Right now, police are still looking for both suspects. This is an ongoing investigation. When we have the very latest information, we'll provide it on air and online at KENS5.com. For KENS 5, I'm Meredith Haas.
A man is sentenced to 30 years in prison after killing an 18-year-old almost 2 years ago in a Dollar Tree parking lot. Earl Stoudemire explains how a simple trip to the store quickly escalated.
Terry Johnson was sentenced to 30 years in prison in the murder of 18-year-old Damarion Smith. Just before midnight on April 5th of 2024, police arrived to the Dollar Tree on East Houston and New Braunfels Avenue, finding Smith lying on the ground. He was shot multiple times in the chest and back and was pronounced dead at the scene. Police learned the disturbance led up to the shooting, and Johnson was among several people detained for questioning. Several months later, Johnson admitted to the shooting, claiming he acted in self-defense. After gathering video evidence from the scene, investigators determined that was not the case, charging him with the murder. Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez says that he's happy they were able to serve justice and hopes that the verdict can bring the Smith family some closure. Earl Stoudemire, KENS 5.
You can smell the problem before you ever see it. A sewage overflow at an apartment complex has tenants saying the issue has gone on for too long. The San Antonio water system offers a way to report problems like this. Follow along as Sue Kalberg makes the call for help.
Several of the tenants who walked out of this gate said they didn't want to talk on camera, but off camera they said this leak has been here a while. You cannot believe the smell.
Even people who own property don't necessarily what's going on all the time. So it's a great idea to go ahead and give SAW a heads up.
SAW's Ann Hayden says anyone who sees something like this should definitely say something.
So have the address at hand and do it sooner rather than later to reduce the amount of sewage that may be spilled in a spot.
SAWS responds to spills right away, but the fix depends on whether the problem is on the private or public side.
If it's on our side, we'll start fixing it right away. When we went to this apartment complex, we could see it was on private property, so we can't use public funds to fix their private sewer issue.
Hayden says they did what they could to reduce the flow, and they told property managers to bring in plumbers or face sanctions.
So obviously it's a health issue, and so the city will then bring in their compliance folks and make sure that something is done about it.
We reached out to the complex, both in person and on the phone. We're still waiting for a response about their plans. If you have a dangerous sewer leak in your neighborhood, over at KENS5.com, we've got the link where you can report it, or you just call 210-704-SAWS. In East San Antonio, Sue Kalberg, KENS 5.
Now that the holidays are over, many of us are left wondering what to do with tangled strands of Christmas lights. Before you toss them in the trash, there's a brighter option. Reporter Simone Simpson explains.
Remember this time of year when you're taking down your Christmas lights, that they don't belong in the blue bin.
Jeff Vexler, Vice President of Monterey Metal Recycling Solutions, says the copper wiring inside them can be recycled, keeping the highly sought-after metal in circulation and out of landfills.
We would like for people to be thinking about preserving the earth.
We have a machine that can process this material and separate the plastics from the metal inside these wires, and we do actually collect a lot of material.
It ends up looking like this. A greener approach not only for the planet, but for your wallet, too.
Bringing it to Monterey Metal Recycling Solutions ensures that the copper inside of those Christmas lights, as well as other household wires, gets recycled and stays out of the waste stream.
Communities across San Antonio are celebrating Three Kings Day, a holiday rooted in Christian and Hispanic traditions. Observed every January 6th, the day marks the biblical story of the three wise men bringing gifts to Jesus. One of the most popular traditions is the Rosca de Reyes, a sweet ring-shaped cake with a baby figurine inside. At Bedoy Bakery, preparations started early to meet the holiday rush. Those who find the figurine are expected to host a gathering next month. Many see the tradition as good luck. And that's the news in San Antonio.